Hi, everybody. I'm doing something a little different today. I hope you can hear me all right. Um, so instead of doing a normal video where you guys can see me, I figured this time I'd do my PowerPoint slide. And that's mostly because when you look at data, um, and with me trying to show you guys how to collect data, it would just be better if I showed you my screen. So just to let you guys know, if you hear something in the background, my little boy's home. He's not feeling so good today. Yeah, it's cold and flu season as normal. But I wanted to go over data at home with you guys today. So why do we take data? Well, for applied behavioral analysis, the analysis part of it is data. We can't do anything without data to back up our interventions, to back up why the behaviors are occurring, and it shows that the intervention is the right one. Data can show you why a behavior occurs. It can also show you, how long it occurs or when and where it occurs. It could also show you things like how long it takes your child to follow instructions, or if it's something that, it's new to your family, you want to see if it's, like I said, if it's working. So today I was going to go over 4 different types of data collection that you guys can do at home. The first one is frequency. Then we'll talk a little bit about duration, latency, and finally ABC data. This one is one of my favorite types of data collection, and hopefully you'll see why soon. So before you even start collecting data, there's a couple things that you need to do. First of all, we have to define the behavior that we are going to be collecting data on. You can't just collect it all willy-nilly and hope for the right outcome. So when you're going through to define your behavior that you want to collect data on, make sure you have where this behavior is occurring, when it's occurring. So if it's occurring at home or at bedtime, something like that, what does it look like? And when I say what does it look like, I want you guys to be objective with this. So don't say things that are like really broad terms. Like a lot of the times we use tantrum, and what a tantrum looks like to me may not look the same to you. So we want to make sure that when we are defining those behaviors, that we do it in such a way that a stranger could watch the behavior occur and know that's what you meant. So also avoid using emotions. So things like they're mad, or things that are just not very measurable, like they do this a lot or all the time. So things like that. You want to make sure you say it very clear. It has to be measurable and observable to work as a behavior for collecting data. So example would be, as you see here on my screen, at bedtime, well, in the living room, when mom says it's time to go to bed, Susie throws toys at mom. So that is just the behavior. It doesn't say what happened after the behavior. It's just strictly the behavior, what we saw. Mom told Susie it was time for bed. Susie started throwing toys at mom. I didn't say Susie was mad because she wanted to go to bed. I didn't say that she was throwing a tantrum. I tried my best to make sure that if you told me that your daughter Susie was throwing a toy, I could come in and see, oh, that's what it looks like. So what is frequency? Well, frequency, and I put a rate up here as well. Frequency is how often a behavior occurs, and it's very specific to that behavior. When we're taking our frequency data, you want to make sure that, again, we have the behavior defined, that we make sure we write the times of day it occurs. So I would put, so an example would be like from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That's when we are tracking this behavior. I did this recently with my son. So I tracked him from 5 o'clock until 7:30 on how often he said the phrase flush the potty. And he said it a total of 71 times. So that was the frequency of during that time. So ways you can collect frequency data, you can just use the simple tally marks, which they work fantastic. When a behavior happens a lot, sometimes you don't have that paper to write on. That's when I personally like to use those little clickers, like the counters that they use when you know, you're going through like a ballpark and they start counting how many people are coming in. I like to use that a lot. Let me fix this for you guys real quick. I'll move some stuff around so it doesn't look very good. And you can also use things that you can fit into your pocket. One of my professors suggested pennies, and I thought that was such a cool idea. So you put pennies into one pocket, and then when they do the behavior, you move it into the other pocket. You could do that with buttons or anything you could put in your pocket. I really wouldn't use just like using something that would melt, because it could end up being messy. Or yeah, make sure you also check your pockets so you don't wash it in the dryer or put it in the washing machine. So rate is frequency divided by time. So I put on here an example of, let's say that the behavior that my son had was 71 times in 15 minutes. So, which actually is what happened. So what I did is you divide 71 by the 15 minutes, and that gets us at 4.7 times per minute. So on what he's doing is saying need to flush the potty over 4 times a minute, which is a lot. So duration is pretty self-explanatory. It's how long something's occurring. What we want to do for this is the minute the behavior starts is when you start a stopwatch or a timer. Make sure it's an up timer. So you want to make sure you're recording it, and then the very second that that behavior stops, we hit stop on the stopwatch. And then you write down the length of time that it occurred. So an example on here was somebody cried for 8 minutes and 43 seconds. So the minute the crying started is when I started recording, and then when it ended, that's when I hit the stop. You can use stopwatch, one of those up timers. I'm sorry, y'all. Or you could even use your smartphone, which is one of the best things around these days. Let's see. You can also use a timer to track what's called latency. Latency is how long something takes from the time they see or are told to do something until they actually perform the task. So, or how long it takes them, say the bell rings, and how long it takes them to get from the door in the classroom to their seat, something of that nature. So an example would be you told your child to clean their room, so you hit your stopwatch, and you wait until they clean start the behavior of cleaning their room. The minute they start the behavior of cleaning the room is when you would hit stop on the stopwatch. So say that took them 9 minutes and 33 seconds. And again, you want a stopwatch, a timer, a smartphone, something to help you keep track of time. I highly recommend using minutes and seconds or seconds. It just makes it easier to graph when you guys want to get to that stage in graphing. And ABC data. This is one of my personal favorite types of data collection. What you do with ABC data, well, first, let's start here. The ABC data is antecedent, behavior, and consequence. So an antecedent is something that happens before a behavior occurs. Behavior is the actual, what is the child doing? And the consequence is what happens immediately following the behavior. So if you track along with my ABC data, I have Brendan was told to clean his room. Then he hit mom and said no. So mom walked Brendan to his room and used hand over hand to make him pick up toys. So the antecedent for this was me telling him to clean his room. The behavior was what he did. He hit mom and he said no. So the consequence was I made him go to his room and hand over hand picked up toys with him until he was able to do it independently. Another way you can look at ABC data is last week we talked about negative reinforcement. So you're in your car, you start your car up, and then you hear the bell ding, ding, ding. Then you see your little light on there says, oh, I'm supposed to buckle my seatbelt. So you buckle your seatbelt. And the consequence of that is the dinging stops. So antecedent was the bell, the behavior was buckling, and the consequence was the bell stopped. So it's just writing down what happens before, during, and after the behavior. You always want to be objective, again, so don't use those broad terms. Don't use the, oh, he was mad and he hit me. If you see on mine, I didn't say Brendan was mad. I just stated he hit mom and said no. So what do you do with all this data once you've collected it? Well, behavior analysts we graph that. So I would also like to see parents try their hand at graphing. Most of the time in ABA, people use line graphs. Those are the big ones. You can also use bar graphs and scatter plots, but line graphs seem to be the one that most of us go to. So what I'd like to do is show you guys real quick, a quick and easy way on how you can create a line graph. Now you can use Excel, but I am a big fan of PowerPoint, as you can tell. And PowerPoint is pretty easy for inserting a graph of any kind. So you just go up into the insert section, you choose chart, and like I said, we're going to do a line graph. So we're clicking on line graph, and it's going to automatically populate a graph like this, but you can go in here and change the names, the categories, everything. So let's say we're going to change the category to hitting. Sorry. We're going to change the category to hitting. And the column, the series, is going to be frequency. So we're going to say, we'll say he hit us 3 times during one session, 5 times during another, and we'll keep it at 2 right there. Now you can get rid of these if you want by just, deleting them. out like this. And as long as I did it right, you should have populated your chart. Apparently I did not do it right. I'm sorry, folks. Let's try that again. Insert, chart, line graph, hitting frequency, oh, sorry everybody. I wanted to show you guys this live so you guys could do it with me. Sorry everybody, frequency, hitting. If I get my stuff together today, 2, 4, 6, and 3. And we will get rid of these guys. And as you can see, boom, you get rid of all these. And you've got yourself a nice little line graph of how often they hit. You can also go in and change different aspects of your graph. So if you don't want to go all the way to 7, you could go in here and change that as well. You can change the names down here, and you can give it a title if you want. That's just a quick and easy way to do it. You can also, if you're old school, like I tend to be, I included some websites so you guys can add in or print up some line paper if that's something you would want to do. As always, there are my helpful links. So once you've got your data graphed, what do you do with it? Well, you could share it with your child's BCBA, their teacher. You could share it with me as a coach if I'm one of the people you want to work with. Or if your child is in early intervention, like here in the state of Georgia, we have Babies Can't Wait, which is 0 to 3. What does this data show? Again, it shows that the data or that the behavior is occurring at home, how long, how often, and you know that you're not crazy. It really does happen, because I know there are times that you go into your therapist and say, hey, I see this, and they look at you and like, well, we don't see that. So if you take data, that'll help back you up to show that yes, the behavior is occurring, and they can help you develop a plan. And it'll also let you know if the plan that you're already doing at home is actually working. Sometimes things work better in the clinic than they do at home, and this could help show that you guys need help at home as well as in the clinic. So what can you take data on? Literally anything. If you want to take data on it, take data on it. You could take on a behavior you want to see your child change. You could do it on, I've heard people taking data on how things affect their child's behavior. So if you are suspecting that they may have a gluten allergy or some sort of allergy, you can take data on that and see if it helps. My son really enjoys jumping on the trampoline. Now, does it affect his behavior? I don't know, but I could take data on it to find out. Weighted vest. I know a lot of OTs like to go to that weighted vest. Well, if you want to know, is it working? Let's take some data on it. You could take data on, are you working out? I know I'm not, so I need to start taking data on that. You could take it on personal goals, things that you want to see yourself do or complete. And Currently, I'm working on professional goals that I'm taking data on. I'm taking data on ABA literature that I'm reading, and also taking some data on the videos that I'm uploading to you guys as professional goals. So don't let anything hold you back from from taking data on it. As you know, you see here a little funny thing. Yeah, if you're taking data on your dog, then you might be a behavior analyst. So I'm challenging my viewers today to try and take some data at home. Do it on whatever you want. If it's something that you want to take on yourself, that's awesome. If you want to take it on your child, that's great too. So what I want to see you guys do is determine the type of data that you're wanting to take. So are you going to take frequency? Are you going to take ABA or ABC data, latency, duration? So, and then graph it and see if you have any changes in those behaviors. And then share it with me. You can send it to the email here. I will post that in the bottom or in the comments as well. If I can get the mouse to come on over here. And that's going to be dittoremotecoaching@gmail.com. And I won't share these with anybody. It'll just be you, me, and the data. We can discuss it. And if you want to start a program with it using ABA or trying to figure out some of the things that we've been talking about, like how to add in reinforcement to a program you want to do at home or a behavior management program at home, let me know and we will try to work something out. So as always, my helpful links, which I have attached here in the comments. I've also, in these helpful links this time today, sorry I didn't do as many fun videos as I did last week, but I incorporated some things like an ABC data sheet. So how do you take ABC data? Put the date, antecedent, behavior, and the consequence in there. You could take that. Or, whoa, sorry, y'all. Or here's a duration sheet. You can use that if you guys want. I've also, like I said, I put in that free graph paper download. So all you have to do is go to the page and print it up. If you want to use Excel to graph your data, there is a link teaching how to do Excel. I also want to share with you guys that I have recently created a YouTube page called Ditto Remote Coaching Service. You can see all these videos that I post live on Facebook, and they will be on the YouTube page as well. So if you guys like what you're seeing and what we're working on, go ahead and share this video, subscribe to the YouTube page. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Here's my reference. And take care. And we'll see you guys next week when we'll be discussing using chaining. And if you guys want, please also comment on the page and let me know what you want to learn about the next few weeks. All right, you guys have a great week. Thank you very much.